It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles.
Welcome in. Sports by the Book is the show, South Point Studio. Welcome in. If you're watching behind us, thank you as always. The numbers, the field, it's set. We're getting ready. We'll have Alex White here in a little bit, Chris Andrews, Vinny Maliulo. They'll all be here. I will give you my initial reactions to the field right here before we get all the numbers and everything all set. The committee did a very poor job seeding these teams this year. They did a poor job with a lot of things this year. It is still the tournament. It will still be the best betting event of the year. We'll still have a whole lot of covering it, a lot of fun covering it. But some of these teams that are here, some of these teams that are seeded, just didn't get it right. It happens. It happens a lot. It's not an easy job. But the Mountain West did get the 6 teams that they deserved, but apparently New Mexico needed to win yesterday to be in. Virginia, a team we've talked about on this show all year, not deserving one bit, they're here. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. I know there are a lot of bid steals. I know it, but the committee did a poor job this go-around. But it may mean there's a lot more betting opportunities because of that this go-around this year. All right. So let's go to it. The East. Here are the matchups. We'll have the numbers as soon as they go into the computer, which are coming shortly here. UConn's your number 1 overall seed. They'll play Friday against in Brooklyn against Stetson. The Hatters out of the Atlantic Sun, they are in. UConn, your betting favorite. Not at the moment because the future numbers are off the books at the moment because when the bracket comes out, numbers come off. They'll come back up in a little bit. UConn was a 5-1 favorite going in to the weekend here at the South Point. They won the Big East tournament. They get Stetson here. Not much of a shock in that regard. You know, I'll say this with UConn. This is one of the few things the committee did get right this week. They deserve to be the number 1 overall seed, especially after everything that transpired this week in the conference tournaments. Houston losing, Purdue losing, UConn, the defending champs, deserved to be the number 1 overall seed. They got this right. Stetson, the 16 seed. The 8-9, here's where the committee started to err. Florida Atlantic, despite losing to Temple yesterday and despite a very disappointing year in the American Athletic, again, a team that I like, a team that has a win over Arizona, a team that is essentially the same squad that got to the Final Four a year ago. They are the 8 seed here. Surprising, to say the very least, that they will be wearing their home jerseys in round 1 against Northwestern. It would have been kind of sad if the Wildcats missed the tournament. They have a win over Purdue. They were 4th in the Big Ten. They had that dreadful loss to Chicago State earlier in the year, obviously. But, hey, they are here as the 9 seed in the East region. Here in the, again, this is the top left of your bracket. Friday games in Brooklyn. We don't know start times for this one just yet. Let's go to the 4-5 in the East. San Diego State. It's pretty funny. 3 of the 4 Final Four teams in Houston a year ago are all on the top of the East region. San Diego State gets the 5, the highest seeded of the 6th Mountain West teams. They'll get UAB, who won the American Athletic earlier today. It'll be very interesting to see what UAB is perceived to be here, a team that was the 4 in their own conference. I don't know what to tell you on that with UAB winning that conference. Again, Temple making the miraculous run. Feel bad for South Florida, who probably would have been in this slot if they had won the conference tournament. Auburn, SEC conference tournament champions, are here. A little surprised to see that they're on the 4 line. I would have expected them to move up to the 3 line, but as we will see later in this bracket, not much to do with the results in the conference tournaments this week, other than UConn moving maybe from number 3 overall to number 1 overall. Auburn to 4, Yale to 13. Yale, a miraculous comeback earlier in the day on the Upper West Side in Manhattan against the Brown Bears. Brown was up 6 with 32 seconds to go. Yale won the game in regulation, and an unbelievable comeback to get Yale back into the tournament. tougher matchup than you would like if you're Auburn against a Yale team that I think is very much game, but I think it's a bad matchup for Yale when it's all said and done. To the bottom of the bracket, BYU out of the Big 12, the 6th seed here. Not much of a shock that BYU is on the 6th line. The Big 12 still had the most bids. They didn't have as many as much. Oklahoma gets left out. I don't have a problem with that. So they get 8. They'll take on Duquesne. I don't know how Duquesne fell on the 11 line here. Don't know how that happened, but they're here, A-10 champions against BYU. This is actually one of the more intriguing lines when the lines pop up here for these games. Again, Chris and company, they're ready. They're just waiting for the computer to pull them up, and those East numbers are up right now, according to the text I just got. So we'll have those numbers momentarily here on the East region. Illinois, 3 seed against Morehead State right now in that one. Again, Morehead State, champions of the OVC. Illinois, champions of the Big Ten regular season right now, or I should say postseason. They beat Wisconsin earlier in the day today. Washington State, 2 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. They lose to Colorado in the semis. They will take on Drake, the champions of the Missouri Valley. Iowa State, the 2 seed in this region. South Dakota State, the 15 seed in the region. As we get to that, those are games in Omaha for that one. Again, here, that is your East region. As we will have the numbers momentarily here for the East region. We have them up here at the South Point. Again, UConn, your number 1 seed in the East. All right, we have Alex White, Jimmy Vaccaro coming in a minute here. It looks like Jimmy's on his way to get us the numbers. See, it's and if we had Jimmy as the first one to make an appearance today on the show, you would have won a nice little bit of coin on that one here. Again, Jimmy heading into the studio here, and there he is, our guy, the white hoodie and all, Jimmy Vaccaro with us right now. Jimmy, yeah. Thank you. You can come one over, actually. You can move that chair out of the way. Yeah, you absolutely can right now. East numbers. Please, let's go for it. East numbers are up.
Well, here's what we got. We got UConn minus 16. We got Florida Atlantic minus 2. You got San Diego State minus 8. You got Auburn minus 15. BYU minus 8. Illinois minus 13. Washington State minus 2. Iowa State minus 16. I'll run by them again just so you get them.
Just so I have that. I'm assuming that you mean UConn is 26, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, UConn is. You said 16.
16.
UConn's only 16?
Yeah. So it's on the sheet.
Okay.
Florida Atlantic minus 2. San Diego State minus 8. Auburn minus 15. BYU minus 8. Illinois minus 13. Wash State minus 2. Iowa State minus 16.
Okay. All right.
All right. You know what, kids? Let me tell you something.
Please.
It hasn't been a crush that you usually would get on this. Here's what's happening in this world of college betting. The numbers are getting tighter and tighter. So what you're getting, I was like, you're going to get changes, but you're not going to see crazy changes like there once was, because obviously more people are jumping in who think they have a shot of beating our number. And obviously for years it was harder to win at. But in this case, although it's still early yet, don't think that they can't. But usually when you get the first numbers, they're like backed in pretty quick because they feel they have the best of it. Now, it doesn't mean they don't, but what I'm telling you is, like, nothing has really drastically moved with these that we just put up already, which shows you the bookmakers, to some degree, are getting a little better of betting these open numbers and open things that you can take a big bet. We can take, we're taking 10,000 to a number on these games. So that's a pretty fair bet to give people. But like I said, I'll be back if anything drastic has changed.
Yeah, please. What you call it? So 10K at the counter, 2K on the app, correct,
You
Jimmy?
got it.
Yep.
I think that's it.
I think that's
what are
what
you
Chris
asking me for?
Chris tweeted it earlier in the day. All right.
I'll be back.
Sounds good. We'll be back in a little bit. You know what, Ann? We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to react to these numbers when we get back on the other side here real quick. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
From the South Point Studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah.
I am beautiful.
And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah. Pittsburgh.
Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock. I go,
Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
Back in Sports by the Book. Happy to be with you. All right. We have the numbers. Just throwing this out there. UConn was 26 against Stetson. They're 26 on the open. So we'll start there. By the way, shout out to our guy, Sean, who's not here today. But the graphics you see, great job by Sean. Just put in a lot of work. We're very proud of Sean for doing a great job with this, with these brackets. And, of course, Caden and Drew here today. We're super excited for this tournament. The committee got some teams wrong, but so be it. All right, UConn is 26 against Stetson. Initial reaction to that is that I would lay UConn. That would be the only way I would look to do it. Hatters, first time ever in the NCAA tournament. Our Ken Palm 218. I actually thought they were going to get thrown to Dayton, but they get to go right into the bracket, play Friday at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. They've one great player. Jalen Blackman is awesome. Jalen Blackman had 41 in the conference title win against Austin Peay. This team is very good on offense, but they are dreadful on defense. So I fully anticipate UConn naming their score on offense in this game. Totals aren't up yet, but I'm interested in what this total is. It might not be a bad total over as well when those numbers appear, just because UConn and non-con was able to basically name their own scores against all those bad teams that were out there. All right, Florida Atlantic, 2-point favorites as the 8 seed against Northwestern. No problems with this line. This is, on the initial reaction, pretty much a stay-off for me. Really, it's Boo Buie's injury that he suffered in that Wisconsin game. He played through it. He wasn't the same player, though. What are we getting out of that? What are we getting out of Boo Buie on that one? If he's healthy, might not be a bad idea to take the points there with with Northwestern. But if he is unable to go, then it's a little bit of a different game. On the next game, we do have the favorite flipped on our screen there. San Diego State is favored in that one. Opened 8, it's still there on that for San Diego State against UAB. I will say this with UAB. I was curious to see where this line came. They're very well coached. Actually, by the way, that number's already been hit. That's down to 7 right now already. See, these will move quickly. These will move quickly. As soon as they get popped up, we'll see them pretty quickly. So it's 7 on San Diego State now, down from 8 on the early number here at the South Point. And again, we'll keep you updated as these move along. And Auburn is a big mover. Auburn opened 15. It's already down to 12.5 against Yale. That's right. I was a little surprised to hear 15 on the open for that. Look, I think you're in a scenario here where Yale is very much capable of staying in this game. So Auburn down from 15 to 12.5 on that one with Yale. I still would bet Yale at 12.5. Auburn is awesome. They are a really good basketball team. They just won the SEC tournament. This Yale team is good. They are underseeded as well as a 15-point dog to open, and now down to 12.5 right away. A pretty quick hitter in that one. In Omaha, this is Thursday. Bottom of the bracket we go. BYU, the 6th seed, opens 8 against Duquesne. Has not moved. I wish BYU was playing a better team. If you flip, if the committee did something ridiculous. Well, again, New Mexico was an 11, which is ridiculous. But if the committee had put New Mexico here, it would be an auto bet on New Mexico. Duquesne is good on defense, but they are a pretty weak offensive team, as we saw through the year. Again, this kind of feels like they had this slated for VCU. Still thought that would be high on VCU anyway. Duquesne has won 8 straight. They've won 11 out of 13. They are playing really well. I'll give them that. But this is a tough one. Tough one for me to handicap here at that opening number. Illinois and Morehead, good job in the back on this one. 13, right on where I would have had it, in all honesty, with them on this. With 13 on Illinois, I can't really argue with that. I thought that was pretty fair. Morehead, not a particularly great team. And for Illinois, as we talked about all year, their defense is the problem with them. 93rd still in defensive efficiency in KenPom. 3rd overall in offense. They're a great offensive team, as we know. Wazoo, 2 against Drake. Numbers good with me. I will be on Drake. I can tell you that right now. I'll be on Drake outright. And the market agrees with me because that just moved the pick. Yeah, I have no problem with that quick move. Drake and Wazoo are pretty darn even. I would have liked to have a plus price on Drake. There will actually be a little bit of a geographical advantage here. Drake, of course, located in Des Moines. These games are in Omaha. Easy travel for those fans from Des Moines to take that not so far drive to Omaha, Nebraska. So I like the Drake. Love the Drake, as they would say, on this one in that game. And then Iowa State, again, these numbers moving fast and furious here. 16 actually has not moved. Actually moved back. So it actually moved to 16.5, then went back to 16. So Iowa State right there, 16-point favorites. No problem with that, as we have that. All right. I know we're taking more breaks than usual, but we're adjusting on the fly. All the numbers are up. Alex White joins us next. We'll have Alex's thoughts on the East. We'll keep going through it all. And we'll also talk about Alex's experience back there as well. She was back there with Tony Sinisi, our guy Chris Andrews, and Vinny Magliulo making the numbers that popped here at the South Point. We'll see you in a few minutes. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake. South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. I'm Jeff Parles. Alex White is here after you were in the back, helped with the numbers.
It was absolutely awesome. I would be very lucky and privileged to do that with those 3 again next year. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, Vinny's talked about the process a lot where we just go game by game. They announce the matchup. We each make our numbers. We went by region, right? Finished making those lines. And then Chris just went down the list, asked each of us what we made it, and then he wrote the 4 and came up with the number. So, yeah, we've got all the numbers out for every matchup, and I haven't really had a chance yet, Jeff, to look at the bracket and see what we're working with here. I do know Iowa State is in the same region as UConn, but other than that, I haven't really got to look at who I like making it through this bracket. And Vinny joins us now.
Yes, Vinny Maliulo is here. Caden, thank you for getting the hard copies. Here were my notes beforehand. So,
very good.
There you go.
Those are great.
Whatever. It is what it is. Is what it is.
The only missing is some pencil. I have a pencil. You want a pencil?
No, well, I can cross out. Cross out is fine. Vinny, I'll just, but actually, this is for both of you. I already said my piece. I thought the committee, all things considered, did a terrible job with the seeding and with the teams in the field, personally. Virginia being in, even in the first 4, was a farce. The Mountain West got all their 6, but I would be pretty upset if I were the Mountain West with how they were all seeded other than San Diego State. They even said on the broadcast New Mexico was a bid steal, which seems a little bit surprising when it's all said and done. But here we are. We have the bracket. We're all going to bet it regardless. It's the best 4 betting days of the year, Thursday through Sunday. But look, I'm just curious real quick, Vinny, where we have a bracket where there are a few teams that are in spots that were a little bit surprising. And here we are where Iowa State is stuck with UConn. Some people thought Iowa State maybe even could have slid to that final number 1 after UNC lost to NC State. Auburn, a team you were high on all year, wins the SEC tournament and gets stuck as the 4 with the best 1 seed as well. This East region, I think it sets up very nicely for UConn. And if they can beat Auburn in a potential Sweet 16 in Boston, it feels like the defending champs are going to be right back where they were a year ago.
To just fair points. I have to be honest with you, and there's going to be debate on
there always is.
Everybody, right? So who got in, who did. I've said it before. I said it when the with the 4-team football playoff, okay? You want good games. These are all going to be good games. The NCAA tournament is going to provide a lot of excitement, everything like that. I don't care. Just, who got in, who didn't, for the most part, where they're playing. Just give us the matchups, and we'll make the prices from our perspective. Like, we can't really get caught up. And I think it's a fair point, and trust me, we'll still, once we get moving forward, we could talk about it and everything. Amongst ourselves from our side of the counter, but when we're doing what we're doing, it's like, give us the matchups and we'll give you the numbers and see what you think about it. And clearly,
the people are betting them right now.
Right now, there's up to 10,000 away. 11 to 1,000 to win 10,000 on for people betting, and those are the people too. By the way, that's not for the most part. 90% of the money is yet to come in, number one, but 99% of the money coming in today is all professional money. So it's respected opinions. And when you combine all those things, that's what our exercise. I know that on the show and everything like that, I don't even hear once.
No, you're just ready to go.
I don't hear about what everybody's in the studio, and those folks are doing their jobs. By the way, adding Alex this year was a big boost for us. We had Tony Sinisi, Chris Andrews, Jimmy Vaccaro, myself, and thankfully Alex lowered the average age, and so that number that was the most solid number of the afternoon. So
one thing I do want to just piggyback on one thing real quick.
Yeah,
and you have said this in the past as well.
Yeah,
I would very much like to see a guy like you or Alex or Chris or whoever in that committee room at some point. Too.
I've said it before, and I'm not saying it to advocate or to say, hey, it's got to be me. But to put an odds maker, get an odds maker involved is, I don't see the negative side to it. Maybe from a perception side, some folks would have but I don't see how in this day and age
it would be
where sports betting is now part of the mainstream, right? I don't see a downside to it, but maybe we'll get there someday. But anyway, we could talk about the numbers.
I do want to
Alex,
chime
go
in
ahead.
really quick before I forget.
Yeah.
With that East region, you kind of made your own point there because maybe the committee did this in a way. They put the best number 2, Iowa State, the best defense in the country. They are number 1 now.
Now they're number 1, yes. They jumped Houston yesterday.
And then you have the best 4 seed in Auburn because it's not going to be Alabama.
The 4 seeds are Auburn, Alabama, Duke, and Kansas. I can tell you right now, Auburn
Duke or Kansas aren't going to take down UConn.
Auburn is pretty clearly the highest rated 4 seed, but without a doubt.
Agreed.
At least in my opinion. I will say, so
that's 2 great matchups to try and take down the defending champions.
So I will say with Iowa State, Iowa State came in as number 7 overall, actually, when it was all said and done.
Yeah.
They had Arizona. They had Tennessee at 5 and Arizona at 6.
That does make sense.
And then they had Iowa State at 7. That's why they got stuck with UConn when it was all said and done.
Well, let me further clarify, too. There were a few where, even though we were back there and we said, I was a little surprised, too. But again, you can't dwell on it. That's the whole thing.
The numbers are up now.
Personally, I thought that Auburn could have easily bumped up even a little bit more to at least a 3, possibly even a 2, given what they did this week. And so, but they didn't. They are where they are. And again, we'll continue to take the bets where they're at and move the numbers.
So talking about Auburn, because that's been the most bet game so far. Period for you guys. You opened 15.
Yes.
Immediate to 13.5. Now 12.5. They take on Yale. That's the 4-13 in the East.
Yeah, and I think it's a contrast of styles too, right? I mean, when you look at Jeff, and I think that's what folks are playing. We kind of anticipated it too, because when you look at a pure power rating, that, and by the way, it's an East Region game, and they get to go to Spokane, Washington. So
that's on the East Coast, Vinny.
Right? So it's definitely a geography exam to on top of everything. But in all seriousness, we did take that into consideration, because if you look at a pure power rating in many of our numbers too, the number could have actually been higher. Okay. Now, at some point there will be Auburn money, and it's don't forget, these numbers are moving very quickly now, and in bigger chunks, if you will. Alex was back there as when Jimmy Vaccaro came in, and as the first sets of bets were coming in, which happened to be in the East region, because that's what we got loaded in first. So again, we're just looking for a threshold to see where we can find some money to get back, and that's the exercise. But it's a lot of fun too, Alex, and I hope you enjoyed it, because you did a great job back there with us.
I did. It was a great experience. I'm glad I got to be back there and a part of it. It's exactly how I envisioned it too, right? Because you've set it up before. You've told everybody the experience and what you guys do back there. So I kind of had it ready to go in my head and how I thought it would go, and I think it went good. And I appreciate you guys having me back there.
Absolutely, and there's no egos too. The beauty of it is that. And if there was let's say there was a 3-point disparity, if you will, maybe 3.5 or something like that. Okay, what are we thinking about? Or maybe, and there are plenty of times, there were several times I went back, hey, let me just double check my numbers. And then, Chris, as director, he's the quarterback. He's calling the plays. Okay, this is the number we're going to hang, So you have to check your ego. I mean, there's no egos involved. It's a good, solid team effort, and credit the bettors for they're doing their homework too. The folks that are betting today are the ones that did exactly what we did as the pairings were coming out, and they were making their numbers, and it's the ultimate put your money where your mouth is opportunity, Alex.
So South Point was the first to get their numbers out.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, and then Mirage, and then no totals yet, though. So when do you think we will see totals?
I'm sure we'll see them tomorrow, Alex. I mean, right now you want to get the numbers, so because the numbers are settling in, will definitely impact the totals too. And again, part of the total exercise too is to refining the number, looking at the numbers, because you've got to you look at this. It's a similar exercise, and I know You do a terrific job. Your dad always did a great job with totals, still does. And so you want to tweak a few things and take into account how the games have been bet so far. So always the first exercise in the NCAA tournament is to get the numbers up. And then as we get further, because that's also what's going to draw the majority of the business, right?
Yes.
Are the sides. But we wanted to get them up quickly. And we've got the folks that are here. It's a nationally televised event, so let's get them up and get them going. And then, of course, as we get further into the week, so tomorrow, totals. And, of course, we'll get into first halves. Every game will have a halftime. The first to 15. Which is, again, one of the most...
Everyone's favorite.
But one of the most, maybe the most popular proposition bet of the year is the NCAA tournament's first to 15. And so we'll have regional futures. Then we'll have the overall futures and a few various props as we get further into the week.
I do have one question for you real quick, because just going through this, Kansas and Samford off the board, correct, because of the injuries?
Well, the injuries, right? I mean, when you look at the two injuries for the Jayhawks, I mean, they're both their leading scorers, right, and they're two best players. And let's look at it this way, too. We know that Kansas is not very deep to begin with. We also know that they're very reliant for scoring within the arc, right? About 60 to 65% of their points come from inside the arc rather than the perimeter. So I think they're going to play, but we have to make sure. The other game I think is Marquette. Kolek is he's probably I think he's going to go. So and the other guys are likely to go, but to what kind of condition and everything like that. But listen, I mean there's every other game up there. We may get it up today if we get word about those guys, but. Again, that's the reason that it's a little bit of a timeout on that.
If McCullough and Dickinson play, I would guess eight and a half probably.
Well, the two of those guys, and we were talking about it in the back. I mean, you can probably start at 4 and go north of it. Maybe through 6 even. What are they going to mean to the number, right? If whether both or one of them. Are in or out of the game, right, Alex? I mean, that was the discussion on that. And again, we didn't want to take too much time on it. We wanted to move on to the other games, right. And so, and again, once we get official word on them, we're gonna pop them up. Yeah, for sure.
That feels a little high. I think I made mine Kansas 6.5, okay. Which is very interesting because I had those two worth about 8 points to the line, which if neither of them played, that would swing it all the way to Samford.
Make it Samford favored, yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. But Cincinnati did close as the favorite, and we saw how that game was not competitive.
Yeah,
Cincinnati almost got into the tournament because of that game.
I would,
they were considered, at least.
I would expect, I mean, the reports out of Lawrence are both guys are going to play.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the effective level.
But,
I'm just to throw that, I am lower on Samford than others are. Just their style of play is.
I think that's 6.5 to 8 sounds about right.
Where is
but
that?
I would imagine Dickinson is definitely playing. McCullers has been dealing with this. Dickinson seemed more of a.
Well, that was the last regular season game.
Yeah.
The dislocated shoulder and the non-shooting shoulder. For Dickinson.
So taking that extra time.
I just
let me see what I think with those guys. I'd probably have Kansas, probably about 7 or 8 if they're both in the game, which I think they will be. But yeah,
just as we remember, Vinny, price seedings don't make prices.
Correct.
Just real quick here, 11 seeded New Mexico favorite over Clemson.
Yes.
Right now, 11 seeded Oregon is a pick with South Carolina, and those right now. Their 9s are favored over 8s every single year, which TCU is a favorite over Utah State, and Michigan State is the smallest of favorites over Mississippi State. I'm going to be honest with you. I had the New Mexico one staring me right in the face, and I'm like, wait a second, that might not even be enough.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask if you liked anything in those kind of.
I'm down on Clemson.
Yes.
I'm down on the ACC. The fact the ACC got 5 is kind of crazy, but I know the NC State mid-steal changed the dynamic.
Sure did. Yeah.
Very much so, not just for the ACC, but for the the Oklahomas and the Indiana States and the Seton Halls of the world that were in the last.
Probably more St. John's than Seton Hall, considering what St. John's did going into they beat Seton Hall in the tournament, and they going into the Connecticut game, right?
So I will tell you, the committee did reveal their last four. Their last four. St. John's and Providence were not listed.
I thought I caught a glimpse of that. Who were the last four?
The team 69 was Oklahoma. Then 70 was Indiana State. 71 was Seton Hall, and 72 was Pittsburgh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that's about as much time as I'm going to spend on it.
So I'll ask you this.
When we get to the NIT numbers, then we'll.
Well, I can tell you, St. John's already said they're not playing in the NIT. So I can tell you that right away.
Right.
I think that's going to be a common refrain from a lot of teams moving forward in this era of the transfer portal.
Probably.
I do want to ask you. We're going to jump around a little bit here.
That's okay.
I want to go to the South, where there's a pretty intriguing one in that 5-12. And we talk about every single year, 12 beats a 5. Of course, there was no 12 over 5 last year. Just throwing that into existence. That did happen last year, where the 5s were 4-0. Wisconsin, who we just saw make the Big Ten title game, I really got a vicious draw here, where they get James Madison, who beat Michigan State in East Lansing earlier in the year. They've won 12 straight games, 29-3. This is a really difficult one, and the number does say it, where, again, every blue moon you find a 12 favorite over a 5. It happens very rarely. The last one I can remember was probably the year before, 2 years before the pandemic, when Middle Tennessee State was favored over Minnesota, and they absolutely annihilated Minnesota in that game. But for this one, this is one of those where I'm very curious to see how this game gets bet. Because the way Wisconsin is playing right now, they look like the team they were before they slowed down in conference play. And James Madison is just a really good basketball team.
Yeah. By the way, good job, crew, with the graphics.
Credit to Sean. Sean did a great job putting the template together, and then credit to Andrew, Doug, and Caden for getting everything
work,
ready.
getting that up there. I think CBS called. They need your help.
Looks good.
So let me get back to that. First of all, that's going to be a good game, and another geography lesson here, because this is a game in the South region, and it's in Brooklyn. Now, it's in South Brooklyn, so I'm sure that's the reason why it's there. And having grown up there, it's I'm glad to see it. But seriously, this Madison is a good club, and this is going to be a really good matchup here. When you look at this game, and I'm looking too at the sheet where we also, Chris will chart where everybody has a number and things like that, what the numbers we made on this game, and we were anywhere from 3 up to 7.5, I think, Alex, if I'm correct.
You are correct.
So you're looking at it and saying, okay, where do we think we can? Where's the starting point? So. Didn't go to the lowest number, didn't go to the highest number, went right in between, and opened it as with Wisconsin as a 4-point favorite. And I'm not sure, I don't have the moves right in front of me because I was coming into the studio. That's bet number 762. And what are you seeing on that now? I'm not sure that they bet that.
Still 4.
So,
4.
Yeah, it's exactly what we opened it. So that's one of them that has not. It took a little bit of action, but I think there's actually maybe some action on both sides, a little bit, but nothing that has spurred a move just yet.
Sorry, Vinny.
Yeah, it's
Are
okay.
you looking at the dog in that one? Is that
first off,
4 enough?
I will say here, real quick.
Yeah.
This screams two-way action. This game.
Oh yeah.
Screams it.
Oh yeah.
Because and again,
And I'm not going to scream two-way, but I will write a couple of decibels for you, Ann. Two-way action.
Yeah.
Wait, right there? Two-way action. Love it.
Yeah.
Bookmaker's dream.
Yes. But this game does scream it, though, because it's 12-5. Again, that's the one that all the public has gravitated to over the years because we've seen it.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, 12 over 5 sounds better than 11 over 6. I don't know why. It just rolls off the tongue better. But this game is – and it's going to be interesting to see where this game gets slotted as well.
Well, time-wise, you mean?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
Time-wise.
And don't forget, we don't have. That's
We don't have times
great
yet.
point.
We don't have
we do
times
not have times yet.
because
Yeah.
that Brooklyn pod, is, even though it's not in the same region, UConn's there.
Yeah.
Duke's there. Duke's playing Vermont. Those people will travel from Burlington down for that game.
Absolutely.
There's going to be, if there's fan base, just because of the nature of Duke playing in New York, it's going to be hard to get a ticket if you're not a Duke fan for that session. So, as neutral gets.
Yeah.
To me, of all the round of 64 games, this is the most intriguing one. And from a betting perspective, it is the most intriguing one. And I'm fascinated to see where it goes throughout the week. Alex, to answer your question, if this gets to 5, I will take James Madison. If it gets to 5, I'll take JMU. If not, I'm probably staying out of it.
Which is a good indicator that, okay, if it does go up, it'll probably come down, to your point, Jeff. So, and by the way, I'm glad you brought it up, because when you look at the betting sheets, okay, you're going to see this order is not going to change on the sheets. What will get inserted are the game times. But again, let's always remember this. The most important numbers, when you look at the odds sheets, are the numbers to the right, because those are the odds. The second most important numbers are the ones to the left, which are the betting numbers that dictate the rotation, you see. And that's why a lot of times, over the years, people have gotten confused. Well, wait a second. You've got if you look at, a group of 4, right? The first one might be the last game in terms of the time. Well, listen, that's not up to us. However, we're not going to change the betting numbers, the BI, betting interest numbers, and things like that. So the BI numbers are what dictate what is how the rotation is placed on the sheets and on the betting boards and in the systems, including your mobile apps, by the way, which are also taking action as well here at South Point.
All right. Vinny, before we let you go back to work, and then Alex and I will steamroll through our initial thoughts on all 32 first-round games, I'll just ask you, with and again, you touched on it, the process back there, and now that the games are here, and we know the matchups, and we know, all right, people are going to now have till 9:15 on Thursday morning to bet that first game, and then, of course, whenever all of those games tip. Throwing this out there, do not get stuck in line behind me on Thursday morning.
Right.
If you want to bet the 9:15 game, you have multiple days to bet the 9:15 game.
You do.
Don't get stuck in line behind me at 9:07 when there's 15 people trying to make your 10-team parlays in front of you, so you have no shot at getting the bet in on time.
Well, don't come to the counter at 9:10 and say, I want to open up a phone account.
Yeah, don't do that either. Don't do that either.
But I will tell you this. First of all, credit the staff, particularly the ticket writers and the supervisors.
They work so hard.
Who do a tremendous job of getting everybody in. Bettors adjust to the times, too, and they'll know. Don't forget, there'll be the 12 windows behind me. There'll be the kiosks all throughout the casino level here. And then, of course, upstairs in the ballroom, in the event center, there'll be a satellite sports book with kiosks as well. So I can assure you this. Here's what I will say, okay? If you get shut up, you don't get down on a game, you didn't want to bet it bad enough, okay? There's ample opportunity, and it's already been up. So certainly take advantage of all of the options. Again, you do not have to be a Nevada or Las Vegas resident to have a South Point mobile app. As long as you are here within the borders of the state, with the geolocation that is required by gaming, you'll be able to wager. So you from wherever you're from, fund your account and start setting it up, right today or whenever it's
sooner
convenient.
rather than later.
Okay, but to your point, Jeff, please, take advantage of all of not only the betting options, but also the options to bet that we afford here at South Point.
And as I will do, our will be a daily plug the rest of the week. The best party in Las Vegas.
Oh, not even close.
Is upstairs here at the South Point.
That's right.
And the best parts about it, other than the fact that you're surrounded by a couple thousand of your friends up there cheering on your bets and cheering on the games, free parking,
Correct.
free admission,
Correct.
affordable beverage,
Right.
affordable food.
Yep.
Good pricing as well. Everything 11 to 10.
And you have all those kiosks up
and
there
we have
and
absolutely.
ticket writers to get your bets in. You don't even have to come back downstairs.
Fair limits, fair prices, and again, once we get to the Sweet 16, remember 105 on the sides through the title game.
Awesome.
So we're looking forward to seeing everybody, and we're looking forward to a great week. Again, second the most wagered sporting event of the year, the Super Bowl single game, obviously, single most wagered single game. But let's remember, we have 2.5 weeks of this excitement.
Yes, cannot wait.
And good job to you both. And again, Alex, glad you were with us. Crew, outstanding on the graphics and getting everything up and running. And now, I'm going to have a little Irish. Go back to work and.
Or both. Well, it
Vinny.
is St. Patrick's Day.
Have a sip.
Yes.
So, everybody be safe out there. Enjoy it.
Vinny, thank you.
Okay.
All right, Alex. You ready to run through this?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start. I already did the East a little bit, but now
Okay.
we have fresher numbers. UConn, 26.5-point favorites against Stetson. Early inclination to me is I'm waiting for the total because I'm going to bet it over.
Okay.
That is what I am waiting for more so than anything. 26.5 on UConn. Good price. Very good price.
Not as good as 16 though, but
No.
yes, it's a big number. But we saw what UConn did last year, and I would be nervous to jump on the points with any team right now.
Chris Andrews is here.
There we go.
I
What's
like
up,
your
guys?
polo. I like your polo.
Well, I couldn't find a team that was playing today
Well, you were playing. You were playing.
I
today.
was playing today.
You
yeah.
were playing today. All the
Man,
hard work back
I
there,
gotta
getting
tell
the
ya,
numbers up. Yeah.
It was great. And we have done so much business already. It's been unbelievable.
So we were talking with Vinny. It seems that the game that has moved the most so far is Yale and Auburn.
That's moved a lot. Yeah.
Moved 2.5 points in a blink of an eye.
How about the Howard game? How much has that moved?
That's a good question because I didn't even look at that yet.
Okay, go look at that one.
But Howard is now 3 against Wagner.
I think we opened Wagner too.
Oh boy,
That we did. Yeah.
It was high as 4, so it's coming back.
What's Vinny's favorite thing? Two-way action. We got a lot of games with two-way action. You could see, and Alec, we're first up.
Yeah,
First
you were.
in the world, know.
Yeah.
That's really funny because Tony said right before we did that game, he's like, "This is the ugliest game
Yeah.
on the board," and that already
Yeah.
has
That
moved so
that
much,
has
so
more
much
action than any game so far, Jeff.
It
It's
is also the
unbelievable.
first game of the
Strong
tournament.
opinions.
So,
First game.
So I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, and also too, and look, Chris, you've said it in the past. If the bettors think a number is bettable, they're going to come in and slam you right away.
Oh yeah, we could have junior high girls basketball, and if they see
think you put a
value,
number
they're
that
going
they
to bet
want,
it.
they're going to bet it.
Yeah, they can lay 11 and 10 and get some value. Guess what, Jeff? I'm going to have some play
Let's
on
go.
it.
Let's do it. No, but look, it is the best 4 days of, at least for me, the best 4 days of the sports calendar every single year. The first weekend, yes, I know the better teams are there later in the year, but later in the tournament, but you just cannot beat getting here on that first Thursday of the tournament and knowing I'm going to be watching high-end basketball from 9:15 in the morning to about 10 o'clock at night. And I have no idea what more likely than not is going to happen in these games.
It's so funny. First of all, how great is the tournament? It's great.
It's the best
And is there
single event there is.
flaws?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I got guys tweeting me, texting me, these are not the best 68 teams. That's not the point. That's not the point.
Not for you.
Win you win your conference, you're in. That's the way it should work. You keep winning until you lose. Who thought UMBC was better than Virginia? Nobody.
They were that night.
They were that night. Who Purdue
and
lose to
Fairleigh
last-
Dickinson was better than Purdue
Yep.
about a year ago.
That's why they play these games, man. Come on, man. This is a great, great tournament, and it's going to be a blast this week.
And we've got some fun stuff coming up in studio tomorrow and Punchlines. I'm really excited about
the
this.
mayhem that is Punchlines tomorrow.
I'm glad I'm sitting out and watching it.
It's the best way to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
we'll
the best
see how
way.
it goes. Frank will be on at noon. We'll be here. All three of us, myself, Alex, and Matt Neverd, will be here. You'll be in all week. Vinny will be in all week.
My wife's asking me, what days you taking off? Really? No.
Yeah, you technically could take tomorrow off if you want.
No, I can't. No, tomorrow we do
Oh, I know.
all of regionals, all the futures. Yeah. We also doing parlay cards tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
So, and really, I tell you the truth, that's one of the reasons we like to get beat around tonight, because we'll find
what numbers go.
We'll know what numbers, and we'll put up. So we're gonna have 2 parlay cards. We'll have a half-point card with the same odds as the football, and we'll have a teaser card. Again, same odds as football. Oh, so
fun.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yes. And then totals, and then you also have
totals. I haven't seen anybody put up totals yet. So.
Way too soon.
So we're probably going to put them up tomorrow.
There's one national book, Scott, just legitimately just put them up 2 minutes ago.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a great totals guy, and we're just going to wait on those.
So you'll be in tomorrow. You'll stop in with us again. Give us some updates on where
tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
For some big bets.
I'm not going to. You guys got a tight schedule tomorrow at noon.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. For sports by the book.
No, I'll see you. I'll see you at 3. You're in at 3.
I'll be here at 3. I'll be here tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
he's supposed to be off.
No,
it's
right? Look. I can't miss what's going on in Punchline.
Absolutely.
No, you can't.
That's unmissable. Even if I wasn't here, I probably wouldn't miss it at all. Honestly.
Well, I'm sure I'll update you at 3 o'clock. Please. And it's really going to be hard for our good friend Frankie Boy. A lot of Steeler news. He's going to have to wait till Tuesday.
Okay.
He'll have to wait till Tuesday.
Justin
update
Fields
all that
can
stuff.
Wait till Tuesday.
He's going to have to wait till Tuesday.
Wait. No. One last thing. How good did Alex White do back there?
She was so good. I mean, I was so glad to have her voice back there. She's terrific, and she did not disappoint. It was fantastic having her back there. It really was.
Well, I really appreciate it. Yeah, it was so much fun and a great experience to get to watch.
Yeah, it's a good experience for you.
Watch the magic happen back there and be a part of it.
Well, we'll find out how much magic it is when we get the results. But the action's been great. I got to tell you, they're betting us like crazy.
That's great.
I told them, you guys got the ball for about 15 minutes here. I'm going to go check in. And I was talking to Rob Meesh, our good friend. He interviewed me. He'll have something. Writes for the Chicago paper and some local stuff. So I talked with Rob for a little while, and I guess I'll go back and see what the heck's going on. Probably a lot. So you guys keep going here.
And, we're going to be going at least for another 15 minutes. We're gonna steamroll through these rounds. 64.
Do what you got to do, my friend. That's all I can tell you. All right, see you guys later. Bye bye.
So we'll stay on the East real quick. Again, I'm waiting on the total for UConn.
I like that.
More so than anything. FAU's up to 3 against Northwestern. I'm a little upset these teams got matched up against each other. More so that FAU, I kind of just messed around this whole regular season. They were clearly one of the teams that deserved, talent-wise, to be here. Resume-wise, I don't know about that, but they are here. Northwestern, it all depends on Boo Booey's health. So for now, I want to see what Bowie's health is by the time this game tips on Friday. If he's healthy, it's probably a bet on Northwestern, actually. If he's not, I actually would go the other way.
I'm with you, and especially if you're getting points here with this Northwestern team, if he's healthy. But you're right, Jeff. That was a great point. FAU, talent-wise, does deserve to be here. Resume-wise, it's definitely questionable. I haven't been that high on them all year, and like you said, they messed around during the regular season. But, I mean, if there was one team that could really make a run here now and flip the switch, I think it might be the Owls.
San Diego State, 7 against UAB. I thought this line was pretty darn good, actually. More than anything, UAB, I don't really know how to handle them. Kind of a lucky run. They get South Florida, then FAU bombs out yesterday to Temple. So they get an easy draw in the final, and they took full advantage of it today. I thought this number was good. I'm staying out of it. Again, a lot of these games, I'm going to be very curious to see where these totals come. If this total comes in the mid-130s, like I expect it to, this thing's an under.
Yes.
That would be the way I'd look to play this.
Yes, and you're right. We are going to have some get to take advantage of some of these totals, especially looking at pace. We've been following it all year long, so I'm excited to see some of these too. But I made this a little bit lower. Okay. I haven't been high on SDSU. I was on the New Mexico side, but I'm going to tread lightly, look into it a little bit more before I jump on taking the points with UAB.
Auburn's down to 11.5, so that number's been bet a ton from 15 down to an 11.5. Now we're now getting to the point where I would not even look. Even at the 12.5, even though if you missed the first number, I thought it was still good. Now we're getting to the point where it's a little bit tighter here at 11.5. I thought, what did I on my quote-unquote guessing lines, I had 12.
Wow.
So 11.5, closer to where I would have, where at least I would have had it, at least at first.
I like Auburn. I
You like
Auburn.
Auburn?
I think I'm had them pretty high in the power ratings along with Vinny. who
I
we
know Vinny
been-
has had Auburn
Yeah,
number one in the
both of-
SEC basically the whole year, other than for a few moments there with Tennessee.
Right, Tennessee and Bama early on, but now really at the end here yet between Tennessee and Auburn. But so yeah, I'm leaning towards Auburn's side here, especially if it gets any lower.
BYU 8 against Duquesne. I would only look to the favorite here. How about that, Alex? All year long. No, against BYU all year. I'd only look to the favorite. I don't think Duquesne's any good. Again, fortunate tournament break in the A-10 for them. VCU couldn't make a shot for about 25 minutes today, and Duquesne able to hold on at the end there in Brooklyn. If BYU's making shots, this has the potential to be a run out. Actually, I just don't think Duquesne has the offense to stay in this game.
I agree. I would look at BYU here. I was all over Duquesne today, actually, but good spot for them, and they did get pretty lucky in that one. But, yeah, I would look at BYU. I think they're going to take care of business, especially in this first round at least.
Illinois 13 against Morehead State. I would look to the favorite in this one. I really don't buy Morehead at all. The one thing that is concerning when you're laying a whole bunch of points like this is that Illinois' defense is terrible. So it would not shock me if Morehead going to have plenty of chances to get in the back door here. The one thing is Morehead does play slow. So if this is one of those games, if Illinois' defense shows up and Morehead's not making shot, this could very easily be a run out.
I'm with you, though. I would look at the favorite here in this one. I made it a little bit higher than that.
Drake and Wazoo. Drake has been hit here. It was Wazoo 2. Now it's a pick. I would have had no problem if I would have liked to have gotten Drake as an underdog, personally. At pick, I actually, in my guess, I had Drake as a 2-point favorite. So I was opposite here. But I'm lower on the Pac-12 teams, I think, than most.
Yeah.
Pick, I like Drake. They'll learn from what happened to them a year ago. They had a big lead against Miami in the second half, fell apart down the stretch, lost that game. They beat Indiana State, who ended up not getting into the bracket here this year. I do like the Bulldogs here. Seed upset, not an upset on the numbers now, but I do like them as a seed upset over Wazoo here, Alex.
I really like Washington State.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not big on or high on the Pac-12 this year either, but it's Arizona and Washington State to me. Even though those aren't the two that we saw in the championship game, I do think they are by far the best teams, and Washington State is very good defensively. So I would look at them in this one.
Very tall basketball team. Very tall. They went
Good
for height,
size.
and they had a great season this year. Iowa State 15.5 against South Dakota State. Alex, you have the future on Iowa State. I'll give you the floor here.
I don't trust South Dakota State after their championship game.
Okay.
And they didn't cover
Why?
for me.
Because they were covering for 39 minutes.
That's
and
true.
and
They
didn't
were
get
they
there?
were the favorites. So maybe this is a better spot to take them as a dog to try and come back. But yeah, I think that number's right. So nothing pops out to me here.
So we don't know North Carolina's opponent yet. Chris brought it up. The biggest mover on the board so far is Howard and Wagner. Wagner, you guys opened at 2. It's now Howard 3. I wish I was out there when that number opened. I would have been all over Howard. Howard, underachieved regular season talent. They are, to me, significantly more talented than Wagner. So I even at the bad number, if this dips, I would look to Howard in this game.
I'm with you. I think Howard should be the favorite. We saw that line move there. I mean, just a small favorite, but yeah, I would only look at them.
Michigan State, Mississippi State, the battle of the M-State universities. Michigan State is a 1-point favorite in this game. I think the Spartans stink. But it's Tom Izzo in March, and I really don't like this Mississippi State team in a tournament setting. I know they pounded Tennessee earlier in the week. I think that just was a no-show by Tennessee. I like the Spartans here. Against my better judgment, I do think Michigan State's advanced. So at 1, I do like the Spartans.
Vinny will be happy on this one. Or
Two-way action. Let's go.
Two-way action. I'll be on Mississippi State to keep that run going. They did very well in the tournament, so I think that it can handle Michigan State here.
Really kind of a hey, you're 2 mid-majors, so go duke it out here in the 5-12, which is unfortunate because Grand Canyon was one of these teams I was targeting for a 12-5. Horrible matchup for them. Veteran team that doesn't turn the ball over and wants to grind the game down and is good on defense, bad matchup for Grand Canyon. Now, does that mean I want to lay 5 with St. Mary's? It's close. It's close. I'm actually a little surprised it didn't come a little higher at first, and then people would take Canyon. Good sharp number at 5. I would only lean to the favorite, but it's a hard one because this is a very good Grand Canyon squad. If they're going to win a game in a tournament, it's probably got to be this year.
It's funny. That was our exact conversation back there, and Vinny made the point, some a little bit low, some a little bit high, kind of landed there in the middle. But yeah, I would lean towards the Gales, but I've been high on St. Mary's all year.
Alabama, here they are against Charleston. 9.5 on this one. I really would love to take Charleston, but I just don't think they're that good this year. And you have two teams that want to play the same way. Mm-hmm. That's usually pretty scary when you have a lower seed trying to play the better seed in the same fashion that the better seed wants to play. More times than not, the talent wins out. So I would love to take Charleston, but this kind of screams like last year. Remember Charleston was that sexy 12 seed over San Diego State? They didn't even cover.
Yeah.
Wouldn't shock me if it happens again where a lot of people bet Charleston, but Alabama, a team I don't really like, as you know, covers the number in this game.
I'm with you, Jeff. That was said perfectly, too. They both like to run. They have a fast pace, and I do think ultimately Alabama will win this one. And I think they can cover that. What is it at now? Did it move?
9.5.
9.5. Okay.
New Mexico, 11 seed, your favorite in this game, and properly so against Clemson, who I don't think is any good. This will be one where I'm sure people will say, oh, New Mexico upset them, even though we're favored, because people don't know how gambling works at times. Alex, I actually think New Mexico should be a bigger favorite than they are. So I have no problem laying 2 points with the Lobos in this game against Clemson. And don't be surprised if you see New Mexico make it to Los Angeles. I don't love their second-round matchup against Baylor, but let's see what version of Baylor we get potentially in that game. But for this one, round 1, lower seed, correct favorite. I like New Mexico.
I'm with you there. I want nothing to do with Clemson either. New Mexico's getting hot at the right time, won 4 games to win the Mountain West tournament. So I think they can keep it rolling here. They're clicking at the right time, and we know they've had their ups and downs, but they're getting hot at the right time.
All right. Let's keep it moving here as we go to Baylor. The Bears, the 3 seed in this West region, will take on Colgate. This is not one of the stronger Colgate teams. We have seen Colgate be a very fashionable bet through the years in the tournament. They dominated the Patriot League over the past half decade or so. I just think this is a dreadful matchup for them. A super uber athletic Baylor squad that's really good on offense. Yep. I have a hard time seeing Colgate staying in this game against Baylor. 13, I think, is fair. I would have no problem laying that with the Bears.
No, you're right, and you just said it perfectly. Really good offense with Baylor, and Colgate's out of the top 200 in offense, so I think they're going to struggle in this one as well.
This is not good. I like too many favorites.
I know.
This is not good right now. All right, Dayton and Nevada. This is another one. I'll be honest with you. I know Dayton, based off the seeding, safely in the field. Looking at their resume, I don't know why they're here. I don't know why they're a 7 seed. They probably should have been playing in their home venue, in all honesty, in the first 4 if they were in the tournament at all. Nevada, another team that gets seeded too low. The Mountain West seeding was way too low for my liking. I like the Pack. Lay the 1.5. In this game against Dayton. I think they're game for it, and I like them to win this game outright.
You might be a little surprised by this, but I do as well. I actually,
okay.
Yeah, I made this number a little bit higher. Nevada did end up being my top, if not very close there, Mountain West team. So, yeah, I think that 1.5 is good.
Arizona's 19 against Long Beach. Anything here?
Nothing for me. What about you?
I can't lay that many points with Arizona. Can't do it.
I mean, although we have seen them completely blow out Pac-12 teams, and I mean, of course they have their upsets like Oregon, but when they're playing well, they can easily cover 20-point spread.
Well, we're steamrolling through this pretty good, half the bracket down. We'll keep it going here. Houston, 23 against Longwood. Make it 22.5, actually. Oh, the bettors bet Longwood. Good for the bettors on that. I'm waiting on a total. Because I don't think Longwood's going to be able to score in this game. And The one counter to that, though, is Houston may try to put up as much as they humanly can after the debacle they had yesterday against Iowa State. But this kind of screams to me, I really hope this doesn't come like 129, 128 and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Because then that's probably too low.
Yes.
Because then you're asking Houston to hold Longwood into the high 30s, 40s potentially. But if this is in the 130s, this would be an under for me.
I'm with you, especially after coming off of that loss and losing the tournament there. But, yeah, nothing for me on this side. I think that's the right number right there.
Nebraska back in the tournament. Not only back in the tournament, wearing home jerseys in this game.
Do you want to tweet everybody how good of a basketball school they're?
Don't do that. Don't do that to me. I did what I did to you with UNLV to Danny the other day, yesterday. Granted, I fell asleep. The thing is, I fell asleep in the middle of the game yesterday. Took a little nap because Nebraska was up double digits, and I had the Illinois bet. I'm like, I'm done here. Wake up, Illinois is up 10. I'm like, all right, I guess I have to go take a nap in a little more.
He is the best jinx ever.
Doesn't exist, Alex. Whew. Doesn't exist. Nebraska's 1.5 against A&M. I like the Huskers in this game. I actually think, pace will win out in this game. And again, I'm going to preface everything I say today. I reserve the right to change my mind throughout the week. Just throwing that out there. Reserve the right to change my mind throughout the week. But I will say, Texas A&M is so bad at shooting the three-point shot. They were good against Kentucky. That's why they won that game. They were good for about 30 minutes in a game against Florida, and then the wheels came off. That's why they lost that game. If Nebraska's perimeter defense, which has been solid, not great, but solid through the year, if it holds up, I expect Nebraska to win that game because of that. So I like the Huskers short favorite as an 8 seed in this one.
What is that number now?
1.5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I made them 1, so probably not a huge bet for me either way, but I would probably pick Nebraska to win.
James Madison.
In my bracket.
James Madison, we talked about it earlier with Vinny. I think the number's pretty good at 4. If you made me bet it, I would take the underdog. But I really am waiting for a 5 here. Then I would come on JMU. If you want to sprinkle on the money line with the Dukes, go for it. They're more than good enough to pull this upset outright.
Well, that's what's going to happen, right? Either Wisconsin covers this easily, wins by 10, or James Madison can pull the upset.
You never know. Wisconsin
here.
could win by 1, and we get home on our plus points bets. That's March, Alex. Anything's in play.
That's very true. I lean to the Badgers here.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
It is.
I wish James Madison had drawn San Diego State personally. That would have been the one where San Diego State.
Yes.
Even though Wisconsin's offense has its flaws, they're still efficient.
Yes.
San Diego State. If JMU had the ability to take Ledee out of the game, San Diego State would stop scoring.
Yes.
So tough matchup, all things considered. Honestly, of the 5s, I think this is the toughest matchup that JMU could have drawn, and they ended up drawing it with Wisconsin. Duke and Vermont. Duke right now, 11 with Vermont. I do not think this Vermont team is particularly good. I really don't. I think this is, even though they ended up on the 13 line, last year's 15 seed was better than this year's 13 seed. Part of the reason is we had all these bid steals, and you ended up with a lot of chaos in the smaller conferences. So double a regular season and postseason champ in Vermont, very apt to move up a seed line more than they probably should be here. Look, if you're Duke, you looked awful against NC State. You lost the final regular season game against UNC too. If you're any sort of threat here in this tournament, you go out and you wax a team that you overmatch. It would only be Duke in this game. I'm probably staying out of it, though.
Waiting to see the total and where that comes, because while this Vermont team is not very good, they are much better.
Slow, too.
They do play very slow, and they're much better defensively. So I think they may be able to slow this down just enough. Waiting for that total.
This is so bad. I like way too many favorites at the beginning. This is never a good sign when that's the case. Because next up is Texas Tech against.
Well, and then you try and find. You're like, okay, I like.
Well, then I
try
to force the underdog.
The underdogs and
the
upsets.
It might be a lot of 1st to 15 underdogs this week. Texas Tech.
That's good.
As the 6th seed against NC State. I don't know how NC State did it in the ACC tournament. It still doesn't make any sense to me that they rattled off 5-5, becoming only the 2nd team ever to do that in any conference tournament. Of course, Syracuse did it with Jerry McNamara in the mid-2000s. That was it. That's the only other team that ever did 5-5. They get Texas Tech. If this was old school Texas Tech, where they were defense first, this would be an auto Texas Tech bet for me. But because of the way they play, and they're slow, but their offense first this year. Grant McCaslin's gone a little bit different than he did at North Texas. That's the hesitation here. I think NC State has enough firepower to hang in a game like this. So I'll lean to Texas Tech, but it's not particularly strong here. Probably not strong enough to make the betting card for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Exactly. I think Texas Tech is the right side here, and I don't really believe in this NC State team either. I think they got pretty lucky down the stretch through their tournament, but yeah, I think that number's just right as well.
All right, going to Kentucky, polarizing Kentucky, draws Oakland in the first round. Oh, Golden Grizzlies, good basketball team. Horrible matchup for them in this game. 13.5. The only thing is, and again, the total is going to be what we look at here. If we get something in the low 160s, I think we both know what we're doing here. We're going to bet it over with Kentucky's pace. Now, it is the NCAA tournament. It is a little bit different. It's a neutral site. This game is in Pittsburgh, which is interesting that Kentucky got sent there, even more so than Indianapolis. But it's hard to lay points with this Kentucky team because of the nature of their defense. It would only be a look to the total here. I'm not comfortable laying this much with UK.
No, I'm not either. And remember, we had Sammy here, and you and him talked about that on Saturday. Don't lay any points here with Kentucky. They're much better as a dog. But you're right. Oakland does play relatively slow, especially they slow it down on offense. So we might get lucky and get a total that we can go over.
All right, 7-10 in this region. Florida awaits the winner of Boise State and Colorado. Boise, a surprise entrant to Dayton this go-around. They were safely in, and a lot of bracketologies end up being in the last four in mix. They draw Colorado. I'm kind of surprised Colorado's in this game, honestly, after losing to Oregon last night. I thought they should have been left out. Regardless, they're here, and they're favored by 2. And I know I'm going to not like myself about 10 minutes into this game. I like Boise State in this game. I don't think Colorado's particularly good. They have a lot of talent, but it just hasn't meshed this year. And for Boise, the one thing that I do know with them is that they will defend in this game. And if they can get anything out of Degenhardt in this game, that's how Boise pulls the short upset here. And then I will tell you right now, they will get crushed by Florida in the next round. The winner of this game is going to get beaten down by the Gators. And as long as that number is shy of 6, it will be an auto lay with Florida in that second round. Or that first round, I should say.
My number says Colorado. I probably won't do anything here because I've been very unsure about both of these teams throughout the year, but I do have Colorado as about 2.5 points better, than Boise State here. And I don't know what happened in the end of that Oregon game, but I think they'll show up for this one against Boise.
Western Kentucky and Marquette up next. There is a number here. Kolek looks like he will be able to go. They look like to be as healthy as they've been in about 3 weeks. With that said, I like Western Kentucky plus the points at 14.5. Now, this is one of those that could very easily go wrong because the way Western Kentucky plays is they just want to run. They are number 1 in tempo. We've talked about them yesterday en route to their conference championship. They are actually okay on defense. Even with that fast tempo, they're okay. 103, okay, yes, I know average, but usually when you see a mid-major to minor team like this have that type of pace, usually it's the offense is really good and the defense is a mess.
True.
And the defense is totally okay. Now for Marquette, this could be an offense they turn over a lot. That is the one concern in this game. Western Kentucky is an 18.3% turnover percentage, which is good for 266 in the country. That scares me. But I think Western Kentucky has enough here to play this game within 14 points. I'll be on the toppers. There's an underdog for you, at least with the points, Alex.
Very good. Well, I made that number exactly where it is, so nothing for me just yet. But I'll be looking at different ways to play this, maybe even first 15.
Montana State playing 16 in the Midwest against Grambling. Winner that will play Purdue. If Purdue loses to either of these two teams in the round of 64, what are we doing here if you're Purdue? Montana State, 3.5. I like the Bobcats. Montana State is just one of these interesting ones where their team is better than their record shows, but because their record was so bad, they had to be here in the play-in game. I'm actually a little bit surprised the bettors haven't taken this north of the 3.5. and maybe even north of 4 by tip. It wouldn't shock me if that happens. Grambling, great story out of the SWAC, first time ever in the tournament, but I think it's one and done for them.
I agree. I think that Montana State is the right side here. I didn't know if they were lucky to beat Montana to get to this spot, but you're right. They are pretty talented, and their record just doesn't really show that.
They're better than the record shows. I don't know how talented they truly are, but their record, they're not. Their resume is the reason they're the play-in 16, not what their talent is.
Yes.
More so than anything. It'll be interesting to see what that number comes against Purdue, and it'll be interesting to see how the public bets the underdog blindly in that game because of Purdue's history and not to do with anything to do with this year. All right, TCU and Utah State. Alex, I was so aggravated when I saw this matchup because I don't like either of these teams.
Right.
Because TCU I've talked about all year where it's like they are so much more talented than their record shows. They should be better than the 9 seed. And here they are taking on Utah State, who, yes, won the Mountain West regular season, but of the 6 teams in the dance, the only one I had behind them was Boise. I had Utah State power rated 5th of the Mountain West tournament teams. TCU's 3. I probably will end up laying it with TCU. Not that I really love it, but as long as TCU's front court doesn't get in foul trouble, I don't think Utah State really has multiple ways to beat them.
No, I agree with you, and I have TCU about 5 points better than Utah State here, so only look at the favorite here. Maybe a money line with somebody else. So
now to an overseed, Gonzaga, who, according to bracketologists, was on the bubble 2 weeks ago, is now a 5 seed in this tournament. Sure, why not? And not only that, they get a pretty favorable draw of where they get to go. They'll play in Salt Lake City for the first round. All right. Well, whenever they get the 1 seed, they get shipped to Salt Lake. Kind of stunning that this happened for the Zags. They get McNeese. McNeese is really good. They are a really good team. And this is where the 12/5 happens.
Ooh.
McNeese has the length to make it very hard for Gonzaga inside, and they have the quickness to make their guards struggle. It's Will Wade, a high-end Power 5 coach, coaching at McNeese because of all the NCAA nonsense at LSU, and this feels like an upset. I like McNeese outright. There you go. There's a 12/5 for you.
I'm leaning to the other side.
Okay.
I like Gonzaga. I think that coming off that loss against St. Mary's in the conference championship, they'll be ready for this one. But I need to dive into it a little bit deeper. But just number wise, I'm leaning towards the Zags.
Kansas and Samford does not have a number right now here at the South Point. The numbers that are out there right now are all over the map. It's as low as 6, and it's as high as 9. So
that's funny. That's what
I personally, if Kansas was healthy, with McCullough and Dickinson healthy, I came on the higher side than you on this matchup because I'm lower on Samford. With that said, I probably would actually take the points if we're getting all the way to 9 on that game. If it's lower, I would look to lay Kansas. But here's the problem. You get in foul trouble in a game like this, you're in big trouble. And KU, as we talked about all year, is no depth. So this is a really hard one for me. I think Kansas does win in advance, but that's more so because I'm lower on the Samford team than I think others are.
The Samford team is pretty good. I mean, they were 69th adjusted offense efficiency, 117th defense, which is not bad at all. And they really know how to, they pick it up. They run fast. So I think they could keep up here with Kansas. If there's 9s out there, I will definitely be on that side with Samford.
All right, moving along. Bottom of the bracket, and this is the last one we'll go through. And don't worry, we'll have all coverage all week through everything here on the show, Frank's show as well, through the week. South Carolina, Oregon, pick with the 6-seeded Gamecocks against the Pac-12 champion Ducks. This was another one. I was kind of frustrated. The matchup is like, I wanted to fade both of these teams in the first round. I really did. And I can't because they're playing each other. I lean to the Gamecocks, small lean. I just not strong. It'll be interesting to see. I'm very curious to see how this game gets bet through the week. I really am. Because I think a lot of people are in the same boat with me on South Carolina, where it's like, okay, if they get a 5 seed, it's going to be a 12/5. If they get a good 11, it's going to be 11/6. This is one of those. I think Oregon just got hot for a few days against Arizona doing whatever the heck that was on Friday, and then Colorado kind of melted down also yesterday. So I'm not really buying this Duck team, but Dana Altman is an awesome coach.
Oh, my gosh.
Throwing that out there.
Yes, exactly. I would only play South Carolina here in this one because I do think Oregon just got hot at the right time and made it through that conference. And South Carolina can control the tempo, slow it down, especially on offense. They take 19.5 seconds per possession. So not the best, you're right, game to play, but I would lean towards South Carolina.
3-seed at Creighton. Boy, what a draw for Creighton. If Creighton's going to make the Final Four, they got to do it right here, right now with this draw. They are 12.5 against Akron. Akron, boy, I feel so bad for that kid on Kent State who fouled when they were up 1, when they didn't realize the score. It's just so sad, more so than anything. With that said, great matchup for Creighton. I'm not going to lay it, but this will be when those future numbers come out. I almost certainly will be betting Creighton to win this region. I would be surprised. Tennessee being in this region changes it a little bit, changes the pricing of what it would have been if it was a different two. But I will be on Creighton to win this region when it's all said and done, Alex.
I like them in this game a lot. I'll probably be laying that big number here.
7-seeded Texas. We don't know the opponent yet. They'll play the winner of Virginia, gross, against Colorado State in this one. On principle, I'm on the Rams. I will be on the Rams. Colorado State came a short favorite in this game. The question here is the health of Isaiah Stevens, who dealt with that calf injury that Alex said you said they mentioned about 8,000 times on Friday night.
He did.
But if he is healthy, Colorado State is much better than this Virginia team. If he is not, then we might be stuck watching Virginia twice in this tournament. It's up to 2 here at the South Point. I still think it's fine. If Stevens is healthy, Colorado State will win this game. And then I like Texas over Colorado State. You
said it perfectly. With him out, I have Virginia as a small favorite here, but with him in, I do think Colorado is the better team. All right, final one, Tennessee, St. Peter's. All right, St. Peter's, where have we seen this before as a 15 seed? 2 years ago, of course, the only 15 ever to make the Elite Eight. This is not that same team. I can tell you that right now. New coach, none of the players that were on that team 2 years ago are even there still. Tennessee's 19. I'm not touching this. If St. Peter's pulls this upset, I will be floored if they pull this upset. This Tennessee team, even though we have the Barnes history, roster is set up well. You have the big-time score and connect. But, boy, there are going to be a lot of people who bet St. Peter's. I can tell you that right now, Alex. Well, I'm going to wait then and see if I can get a better number here and back Tennessee. I know we've been talking about all the big favorites, but I do think they cover this big number. Okay, so the totals just went in real quick here at the South Point. Let's just get to the games that we said we were looking at totals real quick. Starting with Kentucky, because I know that was one we were looking at. Kentucky came 163. I think that's fine to go over. Yeah. I think that's fine. On that, where were the other? I do still have to make my total numbers, but just from first glance, yes. First glance, I think that's okay. Houston and Longwood was another one we brought up, and that came, I don't see it yet. It's coming. It's coming in a moment. But I'm going to assume 127.5 or 128.5, which based off the market, which is going to be a little low for my liking. And then one other one I actually didn't mention, and I made a mistake here. I do like Illinois and Morehead State over because I think Illinois will play that game at their pace, more so than Morehead's pace. By the way, that's down to 11.5 here, so that's going to be a bet on Illinois now for me with the market taking Morehead early here at the South Point. I love these early line moves, so you can... Going to be a lot of them. Yeah. Be a lot of them. We are here all week. So myself, Alex White, Matt Everett will be here. We'll have more in depth tomorrow. We'll have our actual early bets we made. What we think of the brackets as well. Our Final Four picks, our champion tomorrow. We'll have that all tomorrow throughout the week as well. We'll have great guests on the show as well. The Three-Man Weave guys hopefully will be here on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be at 8:30 in the morning previewing the games. Sports by the Book. There you go. Great job, everybody. Special tip-off schedule. Thursday through Sunday, 8:30 to 9:30 for the first and second rounds. Everything you need to know leading into tip-off for the games, 9:15 each of those 4 days for game one. And we'll be here. We'll be here. You ready to roll? Ready to roll for the madness? I'm ready. I got to go home. I got to do my bracket. I got to get ready. I got to figure out what teams I'm going to auction on tomorrow. Get ready for our show at 3. Look at some totals. It's going to be a long, good week. I'm excited. That's all the time we have.
We'll see you tomorrow on Punchlines at noon. Madness special for that as well. Good work as always, Alex.
Thank you.
Caden
You too. Thanks for doing the show by yourself for a while.
It was all right. We were good. Very good. I'm Jeff Parles. See you again tomorrow. Noon on Punchlines for all of us here at the studio, and then 3 o'clock, Sports by the Book. We'll see you then.